Selamat datang, or as they say in Malaysia, Selamat datang. That's right, if you can speak Indonesian, then you're going to get by in Malaysia as well. My name's Joel Backwell, and as you might be able to see from the twin towers over my shoulder, I live in Kuala Lumpur, and I work here as the Australian Trade Commissioner. While I'm really sorry that I can't be with you today, from what I've heard about the Melbourne weather over the last month, I, to be honest, would rather be here where it's 30 degrees every single day of the year. When I was asked to talk to you about why you should learn Indonesian, I was more than happy to do so. To be honest, learning Indonesian at high school was probably the best decision I've ever made. It's opened up a lot of opportunities, including this amazing job here in Kuala Lumpur. On the other hand, I was a bit surprised by the question, why learn Indonesian? Because to me, it's obvious. Hopefully by the end of this session today, it will become a bit more obvious to you as well. Now, put your hand up if you plan to study Indonesian after this year. Now, obviously I can't see you, but I'm going to assume that not every one of you put your hand up. I'm hoping by the end of this session that will change, and even if a couple of you who didn't put your hand up changes your mind and decides to continue studying Indonesian, then that will be a job well done. So why should you learn Indonesian? I'm going to give you 3 reasons. The first reason, because you can. Karena kamu bisa. The second reason, because you should, or you'd be crazy not to. Kalau tidak belajarnya, gila kamu. And the last one, and this is the easy one, the third reason why you should study Indonesian, because it's fun. Kenapa tidak? So let's start with number 1. Why should you learn Indonesian? Because you can. Put simply, it's a pretty easy language to learn. I've also learned Spanish and Arabic and German, and Indonesian is far easier than any of those. You've got a phonetic pronunciation, you've got a pretty easy grammar structure, and obviously it uses the same alphabet as English. So the other reason is it's easy to practice in real life. You can get so many cheap flights every day of the week to Indonesia or to Malaysia to come over here by yourself or on a family holiday and practice for yourself. Now if you were learning German, it would be much harder to get on a plane and much more expensive to go over to Germany to practice. Another good reason is that this government, one of its very important policies is what they're calling the New Colombo Plan, which some of you may have heard about. Basically, this is a policy to give free scholarships to Australians who want to go and study in Asia, and one of the target countries is Indonesia. The other reason is something that you have that I didn't have when I was studying Indonesian, which is an amazing access to technology. You've got Facebook and Twitter and of course Google, and you've got all of these language learning programs. So you can keep learning Indonesian at your own pace and at your own leisure, even when class is finished. Now, the second reason why I think you should learn Indonesian is because, frankly, you should. And there are 250 million reasons why you should learn Indonesian. Why? Because by the time you enter the workforce, the population of Indonesia will be more than 250 million. That's 10 times the size of Australia. What does that mean in practice? It means more than 250 million potential consumers of Australian goods and services, which means thousands and thousands of Australian companies who will want to get into Indonesia to take advantage of that business, and they'll be looking for people, hopefully you, who can actually speak Bahasa. I can guarantee you that one of the main reasons I got this amazing job here in KL is because I speak Bahasa. Another reason why you should is the amazing range of opportunities that will be available to you if you learn Indonesian. Now, of course, you can go and get a job with a bank that's active in Indonesia, like ANZ, or you could be a translator from the United Nations. But there's a much wider array of opportunities for you with Bahasa. If you like surfing, you could start a surfing school or surfing tours to Bali. If you like film and television, you can become an actor speaking Bahasa in one of the many Indonesian TV shows that are coming online. If you like footy, AFL Asia is now pushing into places like Indonesia as a new market, so you could get a job with them. The point is that by continuing to learn Bahasa, it's going to open up so many doors for you. Obviously, on the other hand, if you decide to stop studying Indonesian, you could close some doors that you may never ever be able to open again. Finally, reason number 3. Why should you learn Indonesian? That's the easy one, because it's fun. Indonesia is one of the most amazing places you will ever visit. For anyone who hasn't been to Indonesia yet, you might be there studying with your books, feeling like it's just words on a page or boring grammar, but I guarantee you, the second that you get on that plane and get to Indonesia and use that language for real, you will never ever look back. Indonesia is such a great place to go. The people there are so warm, so wonderful, so friendly. They've got a great sense of humour. I think that sense of humour is a lot like Australia. It's also such a diverse country. You could literally be one day shopping for brand names in a mall in Jakarta. The next day you could be travelling to the point that you're looking over active volcanoes in the middle of Java. The next day you're looking at 100-year-old mosques or churches or Hindu temples. And then the next day you're eating a meal that's so spicy you feel like your head's going to explode. I first went to Indonesia when I was 15 years old. I went on an exchange program and I lived with a Muslim family during the fasting month of Ramadan. It was a terrific experience, but I made a whole lot of friends, and as they've grown up, I've gone back to visit them and I've been to their weddings, I've seen their children grow up, and I've made some lifelong friends. I've probably been back maybe 20 or 30 times over the years, and for example, during that time, I played basketball for the Indonesian equivalent of the Melbourne Tigers. I'm sitting down at the moment, but if I stand up, I'm around 6'1". I tell you, the only reason I got to play was not because I was particularly talented, but just because I was taller than most Indonesians. I've spent hours and hours sitting in Kerobokan prison in Bali with Myran Sukumaran and Andrew Chan, who some of you may know as members of the Bali Nine, but who I know as two of the most humble and inspiring young men you will ever meet. And I've spent time trekking through rainforests and crossing paths with Komodo dragons, which are the closest you'll ever come to dinosaurs in real life. The most important part of all this is that I wouldn't have experienced most of this if I didn't speak the language. If I hadn't decided when I was 15 years old and in year 10 that maybe I would continue studying Indonesian. And trust me, there's nothing more exciting than going overseas and speaking to another person in their own language. It's an exhilarating feeling, but even better than that is the look that you see in that person's eyes when you speak their language, that shows that you've taken the effort to understand their culture through their language. It's something that you couldn't replicate. So to recap, why do I think that you should learn Indonesian? Well, the first reason is because you can. As I said before, with all of the technology at your fingertips, your obviously dedicated teachers and a bit of commitment, I guarantee you'll be speaking Bahasa before you know it. The second reason, as I mentioned, is because you should. Remember, there are 250 million reasons why studying Bahasa is in your best interests and will significantly increase your chances of getting a really great job. The third reason, as I said, is the easy one, and that is because it's a whole lot of fun. As soon as you get the chance to get on a plane, get yourself over to Indonesia and start speaking Bahasa for real, I guarantee you, you will never ever look back. Now, that's all I wanted to say to you today, but if you'd like to continue the conversation, and I'd really love to hear from you, then I'd encourage you to email me at joel.backwell@gmail.com, or why don't you send a tweet to #WhyLearnIndo, and hopefully we can continue the discussion there. So for today, I just wanted to say thank you for your time, terima kasih, and enjoy the rest of your day.